Hey guys, it's your boy Kwame, aka Pharaoh Noir, and this is a new series that we're trying out here on the Creative Kwame's channel for the next couple of weeks where I serve y'all with my thoughts on things. In all honesty, this is just my partner David's way of forcing me out of camera work and editing, so yeah, blame him. This is not my comfort zone! Anyway, let's jump right into it. Black Panther. Bruh, let me just preface this video with this. I am so ready for this movie. When they first announced that the King of Wakanda was finna be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and have his own movie, every atom that makes up my body lit a flame. I mean, I felt like Goku turning Super Saiyan for the first time. My eyes turned white, my muscles tensed, the ground shook beneath my feet. I told my whole crew, listen, I don't know about y'all, but I'm trying to roll in deep. I'm going to the premiere in the dashiki blue jeans and the Jerusalem bread 11s, and y'all better be with it. I even asked David to hold me down with a dashiki because, you know, I don't actually own one. But yeah, you know this movie is about to be heat. We got Auntie Angela Bassett, we got Uncle Forrest Whitaker, we got cousin Michael B. Jordan in a whole new role as a villain. And don't even get me started on the queens, Felicia Rashad, Lupita Nyong'o, and Danai Gurira, aka Michonne from Walking Dead. That's not even all the people in this movie. And yeah, I know what you're gonna say. It's not even out yet. You don't even know if you're gonna like it. You're only gonna like it because they're black people and it's an all-black film. And you know what? You're goddamn right. I'm in love with all of this blackity blackness. Black people in the movie serving looks while in positions of power finna give me life. But at the same time, my adoration and excitement for the movie and the character runs a lot deeper than that. Let's talk a little bit about who Black Panther is before I explain all that. For those who don't know, the Black Panther is a superhero published by Marvel Comics, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. He was the first black mainstream superhero in American comics, debuting way before all of the other black superheroes that we know and love, like Falcon, Luke Cage, or even Jon Stewart, the Black Green Lantern. The name Black Panther is technically the name of the hero, but it's more like the title given to the ruler of the Panther tribe in Wakanda. And even though the title is held within the family, meaning like it's hereditary, it still needs to be earned through a rite of passage. Now T'Challa, played by the swag-dripping Chadwick Boseman, has that title, and that's not even his only one. He's also King of the Dead, High Priest of the Panther Clan, the Champion of Bast, a brilliant politician, inventor, and scientist with a PhD in physics from Oxford University, two-time Time Magazine Person of the Year, and six-time People Magazine Sexiest Man Alive. I wish that I was making that last one up, but it's true. Look it up. His skills include a mystical connection with the Wakandan Panther god, superhuman senses, enhanced strength, speed, agility, stamina, durability, healing, fast reflexes, hunting skills, tracking skills. He's a genius and considered one of the 8 smartest people on the planet. He's a rigorously trained gymnast, acrobat, and a master in various forms of African martial arts as well as contemporary martial arts. Because he's built like that. And he's been granted with the strength and knowledge of every past Black Panther. I don't even know if I've got everything, but yeah, he's beast. Literally. Black Panther was the first comic I read as a kid. I had a lot of friends who just asked their parents for things and they would get them the day they came out. But for me, it was a different story. I grew up in a traditional Caribbean household, so things like video games and comics were seen as a colossal waste of time. Every time I would ask for one, I get hit with the studyable. It broke my tiny adolescent heart every time. But there was one time that this wouldn't be the case. Some context before I get into this. My dad was a huge fan and supporter of the Black Panther Party, so much so that he named me after a prominent member of the party, Kwame Ture. So because I knew this, I also knew that just dropping the name of the comic alone would increase my chances of getting it. But I had to play this like a game of chess and plan every move carefully. This is what I did. I planned everything like a week in advance because at the time I knew I had a math test coming up and I needed to get 100 on this test to use as leverage to get that comic. I studied my ass off and got a 92. Wasn't 100, but it would have to do. After I got picked up from school that day, I cleaned the whole house. Usually I just needed to worry about my room, but this time I needed to dazzle. Kitchen, cleaned. Living room, handled. El baño, sparkling. Bedrooms, finessed. I went as far as putting origami cranes made out of paper towel on my parents' pillows for no reason. Next, I finished all my homework. I was out here like Sherlock in my mind palace, making sure every answer was right. Then, my dad came home. It was time. He sat down in the living room and I slid in from the hallway to see if he was asleep. He was awake. I was shook because I didn't want him to say no. So first I showed him my completed homework. He was okay with it. He was like, okay, good job. Made me feel good. Then I showed him my test and he hit me with the, so why isn't this 100?
What you say? That you only meant well, cause you did.
I mentioned the house being cleaned and how I did it all by myself, and he was only slightly impressed. I felt so defeated at this point. I used my entire arsenal, and he seemed so unfazed. I couldn't go out like that. So I was quiet for like a minute, and I think my dad sort of sensed that I wanted something, and he asked me what was wrong. I looked up at him with all the courage that I had in my little chubby body, and I told him that I wanted a Black Panther comic book. I told him that I looked up to this hero and how cool I thought he was. I was like telling him all of his powers. And if there's anything you need to know about me, I tend to ramble when I'm excited about something. So I went on and on mentioning all these random things that he did. I even mentioned that he fought the KKK thinking that that would help. And after my rambling, the room fell silent. I looked at my dad, who was looking back at me. What was seconds felt like hours, and he says, "You know me to like them someday." And I was like, I know, Dad. A few more seconds passed, and he's like, let's go. I felt like I beat the last boss of every video game ever. I was so hyped. He bought me 2 issues of the 2005 run of Black Panther. I reread and reread those comics so many times. I took care of those books like they were gold. Years later, we moved around a lot, so I ended up losing them, but I'll never forget how I felt with those comics. So my excitement for the movie is just an evolved form of that moment in my childhood. But if I look at the release of this movie objectively, this movie is so necessary. Let's be real. Hollywood keeps telling us the same stories over and over again with a white protagonist who saves the world, while the people of color are either a snitch, the bad guy, a sidekick, or some convoluted mixture of the three, because Hollywood. And if we're being honest, there's a huge population of people that are just sick of it. We want to see something different, and slowly but surely we're getting just that, with shows like Atlanta and Insecure, and movies like Get Out, and now... we've got Black Panther, a movie with a cast that's literally dripping melanin, whose story is all about a king trying to protect and do right by his people while also being protected by his own personal guard of ceremonial wives in training. Anyway, yeah, that's how I feel about Black Panther and why I'm so attached to the character. Tell me what you think. Are you excited or are you a hater? Because if you're not hype, you must be a hater. But I respect your opinion, even if it's the wrong one. And yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on IG. Stay crispy.